almost beyond comprehension. A Sunday school teacher and mother arrested for allegedly kidnapping and murdering 8-year-old Sandra Cantu. Sandra was the playmate of her own young daughter. They lived just doors from one another in their Tracy, California mobile home park. And in another mind-boggling new development, the district attorney has just announced they're also considering rape and molestation charges against this very mother, 28-year-old Melissa Huckabee. That means she too could face death. Right now, Melissa Huckabee inside an observation cell on suicide watch. Little Sandra Cantu's body was found a week ago, stuffed into a suitcase. You see it right there, then dumped into an irrigation pond. Melissa Huckabee claimed she had an identical suitcase that was stolen the very same day. Meantime, news of the arrest did nothing, absolutely nothing, to soothe Sandra's family. They erupted in disgust and outrage.
We have to live the rest of our lives without Sandra. She's in jail. She can still see her little girl grow up. We don't. We don't get to see that.
Should have said before, Joe, that you wanted the death penalty?
Of course.
What kind of punishment? You can hold the circumstances.
Prison's too lenient.
For their part, the family of Melissa Huckabee, the suspect, is also reeling. They're bewildered by the allegations against her. After all, she has a young daughter herself.
Very shocked. It's very out of character for Melissa. We love her dearly. She's a fantastic mother.
Very, very loving.
Very loving. It's just a great sadness for our family. And this is a very difficult time for us, and very difficult to express to you right now how we're feeling.
Is this a case of the killer next door? If so, what made a young mother snap and allegedly murder her child's playmate? I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 1-877-JDM-SAYS. That's 1-877-586-7297. But first, out to my fantastic panel, Dr. Gail Saltz, clinical psychiatrist, Mark Eiglarsh, criminal defense attorney, Thomas Ruskin, former NYPD detective, Drew Finland, Atlanta criminal defense attorney, and Bob Moffat, reporter with KFBK News Talk 1530 in Sacramento. Bob, dare I ask, what is the very latest?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow what the actual charges are in San Joaquin County, but the deputy district attorney there told the Associated Press this afternoon that possible death penalty charges could be coming against Melissa Huckabee, including rape with a foreign object, lewd and lascivious conduct with a child, and murder in the course of a kidnapping. Like you said, she is on suicide watch and should make an appearance sometime tomorrow in a San Joaquin County courtroom. We're also wondering if there may be a gag order issued in that case. These kind of high-profile cases have a tendency to bring out the media in droves.
Dr. Gail Saltz, psychiatrist, boy do we need one. I had to read this Associated Press report 3 times just to make sure I was reading it correctly. Prosecutors considering rape and molestation charges against this mother and Sunday school teacher. The deputy DA said the homicide charge could include a special circumstance of rape with a foreign object. Again, these are allegations. This woman hasn't been convicted of anything. But psychologically, hypothetically, what possible explanation could there be for the mother of a young child to sexually assault with a foreign object her daughter's playmate?
Well, look, if this is true, women pedophiles are unusual compared to men. As we've been hearing about many cases, women pedophiles are usually having sex with young boys, basically. For a woman to assault a young girl is extremely rare. Actually, women killing young children is extremely rare. So we would wonder about, serious mental illness, but there are cases of sociopathic women who are pedophilic, who go after young girls. It is very unusual, but it has happened.
And it is very sick. Here are a few more hints. Melissa Huckabee's family has admitted she has a troubled past. Her father says as a single mom, she struggled with finding a job, raising her child, and has suffered from depression. The Reverend Lane Lawless, her grandfather and pastor of the local church, told ABC News, quote, "I have no doubt in my mind that she knows right from wrong. At least I thought she did." But reports are Melissa Huckabee was currently on probation for petty theft after pleading no contest over an incident at a Target store back in November. Now, in fact, she was reportedly supposed to appear in court this coming Friday to check in with county mental health program as part of that probation. So out to you, Thomas Ruskin. You're a former detective. You were an investigator. She denies that that's her. In other words, the person who did whatever they did at Target, she's saying that's somebody else by the same name. What does that tell you?
Listen, the difference between a petty thief and a murderer is a drastic difference. What's amazing here to me is that she gave herself up. She basically talked to the reporter from the local press, which told her that the suitcase was hers, that the suitcase that was stolen was waterproof, and that a note was left behind, which basically then put the spotlight on her, which is not unusual for a psychopathic killer.
Melissa Huckabee drove herself, believe it or not, to the police station Friday night. Now, listen to what police had to say about her demeanor over the course of their 5-hour interview.
She came in of her own accord. She drove herself there. I believe you all recorded her leaving here. She walked through the front door of the police department and started a conversation with our investigators. And during the course of the conversation, she was calm, cool, and collected, and then became very emotional, and then was calm again, and then became resigned.
Okay, Mark Eiglarz, give me your insight into all the numerous inconsistencies in her story that police are citing. She apparently told this to the local media. She told the Tracy Press newspaper that Sandra visited her home the very day of her disappearance, and then she told Sandra her daughter couldn't play because her daughter needed to pick up toys. And about the black suitcase, Huckabee claimed that she had a black suitcase and that somebody had stolen it from her driveway March 27th, the very day that Sandra went missing. And the final thing that's so bizarre, the newspaper also says Huckabee was released from the hospital on Thursday, and she claims she was there because of internal bleeding. What do you make of all this?
I make that this insanity defense that I'm anticipating is not going to be effective because she's lying, and those who lie and those who go through great detail and effort to try to mislead everybody, it tends to show that she knows right from wrong, and thus a defense of insanity probably won't work. What else does she have? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the evidence shows.
All right, Bob Moffat, let me get your insight into the fact that police are saying this happened quickly. They believe the little girl was probably dead by the time that the missing persons report went out at about 8 o'clock on Friday, March 27th. Authorities reportedly, according to witnesses who spoke to newspapers, took a folding cot out of the church. So there is some question as to where this horrific murder happened. Is there a possibility or speculation that it could have even happened at the church where her grandfather was a pastor?
Absolutely, and there have been search warrants served twice at that church, the last one being Friday at that shed that was on the church grounds. That is the speculation right now, is that the little girl was murdered at the church possibly, but once again, we're going to have to wait until all the facts come out in court tomorrow.
Drew Finley, what I don't understand is how would she be able to get this child from the home in the mobile home park to the church to do this, as she's alleged to have done?
Well, what you're hitting on is that there's so much more to look into. Number one, we may think she's the only suspect, but you can rest assured law enforcement is trying to determine right now whether she even accomplished this by themselves. They're also trying to determine whether or not she's been involved in any activity like this before. You can rest assured they're reaching out in the community to see if she's ever perpetrated any suspicious activity with any child before.
Just when I think I've seen the most disgusting thing, something more disgusting comes down the pike. All right, stand by, panel. More on this shocking arrest in the Sandra Cantu murder in just moments. An arrest, but no motive. What could have caused this Sunday school teacher to allegedly kill?